That's it. No, we can't do it this season now. I honestly believe that. It'll take a minor miracle, and I honestly don't think we're good enough. Liverpool, in my opinion, almost uncatchable. That was another poor performance, and in a season full of them, in a season full of circumstances that suggest everything is not gonna go away. Now, I admire anyone who believes otherwise, because I wish I had some of that, in my opinion, naive optimism, but I just can't see it. All the indications point towards what I've been saying in this channel for a long time. We're in a transition season. When you combine multiple factors, what you get is this season so far, and we're just not good enough. Genuinely not good enough. And that's for a variety of reasons, as I've just said. It's injuries have taken the toll, of course. We've got players getting older, a bit of bad luck, and maybe even just 1% drop in hunger. And that's all it takes. A tiny shift of focus. When you combine that with lack of players being available, that kind of stuff, injuries and new players trying to settle in, then eventually you get this shit show that we've watched today. Over than a 10-minute spell, and there was a 10-minute spell that preceded De Bruyne's stunner, this team wasn't good enough today. Just not good enough. And his questions about players across the pitch. As I've said before, I am not going to kick up a stink and moan and say everyone should be sold and all that kind of stuff. I think this is part of the nature of football. I think sometimes you go through these moments where you're just not as good as you should be, or players lose a little bit of focus, or bad luck happens. And when you combine all those factors at once, it's just too big a wave to try and get over. It's just an overwhelming kind of wave of negativity is washed over us at the moment that it's very hard to shake. Yes, we will still have moments where we win games and still score goals, because we are too good not to have that. But in general, the momentum is with Liverpool. Like, the thing is, to chase Liverpool down now, they need to drop loads of points, which that's very unlikely. We also need to win about 15, 20 games in a row. Can anyone really see this team do that? Can we see us going on a winning streak that will be able to claw it back? I just can't see that happening. And anyone suggests otherwise, I honestly think you're kind of living in an adorably naive kind of cuckoo land. Like, that's just not going to happen. Now, who's to blame for this? That's the question. We all want answers. Point fingers, shout, swear, go on Arsenal Fan TV rant. That's not me, unfortunately, guys. I just don't do that. I think it's a collective failing. I think there's it's just inevitable, to be honest. I think we don't like to admit it, but this kind of happens with teams, and especially when you consider the circumstances. Now, individually across the pitch, there are some players that don't look good enough at the moment, and I think there are big question marks asked. Some I think are just out of form, some there are question marks over. Now, I'll go for the team one by one. Ederson, I can't really blame him today. He was fine. He's more than good enough. We know that about Edison. He's ice cold and all that kind of stuff. Walker, I thought it was okay. I thought he kind of had St. Maxime kind of under control, really. I thought he did okay. Fine. Stones, not for me, guys. I don't think Stones has shown anywhere near enough to be the long-term solution at centre-back. He wasn't woeful today, but that goal, he was just weak enough and just apathetic enough to be absolutely, totally diabolical. And that was cost us the game today, genuinely. I think like that moment there, when they get the equaliser, after that, we'd lose our momentum. I know there was other moments other than that as well, but in general, I thought Stones continues to flatter to deceive. That's just Stones in a nutshell. He has to be stronger. He has to be more powerful by now, but he's very much a backup man. I think he's going to carry on being that. I've got no belief in him at all as a centre-back to be the long-term replacement for Vincent Kompany and co. It just doesn't seem to happen, and he's another player that just underwhelms all the time. Fernandinho was okay, centre back. I thought he played pretty decent, though he was culpable for a silly free kick that led to the second. That was just a shit show of sequences that led to that whole goal, if I'm being honest. But you know, he's fine there. He's fine there. I said on Twitter the other day that I feel like the one thing we lose about Fernandinho in midfield is not just the fact that he's so good there. It's the fact that we lose that kind of heart, that energy in the centre that drives us forward. And it's notable, in my humble opinion, that we're lacking that energy with him not there. He controlled the games emotionally for us. He was the guy right in the middle of the pitch, right where the shit was going down there. And now he's, most of the time, he's stood there doing fuck all. And it's a waste of that infectious talent that he's got. We've lost a leader at the back in Laporte and another leader in Kompany, and we've lost a leader in midfield. So we've gone down to two leaders now. I know Fernandinho's on the pitch still, but what made Fernandinho a leader was how he drove us in the middle. We haven't got that. So what made him great? I mean, he's still very good, of course, but what made him great was what he did in the middle of the pitch for us. So he's not there now. So he's wasted. Mendy, he was bad today, sadly. Now, I said it once again on Twitter. I went on a big long rant about it. With Mendy, we're at a situation where we don't know if he's playing badly because he's not got the confidence yet in his own ability after the injuries, because it's very hard. A lot of footballers will say the same thing. Apparently, when you come back from a serious injury, you're subconsciously held back a little bit. You don't fully commit to stuff because you don't want to go for it because you're scared of getting injured again. And as a result, you look a bit naff. It happens, and it could happen a long time. It takes players to get a lot of time to go it. It could be that. that. It could also just be that he's just knackered. Like, he's just knackered. His body is done in. He's a car that's had far too many engine replacements, and it's just not chugging along well at all at the moment. His touch was awful. He was standing on the ball. He was giving it away. And he was probably, in my opinion, slightly guilty for the second goal. His touch was bad. I'm not trying to make him a scapegoat. I'm just saying where he is at the moment. And his others, I think I'm going to blame as well for this. He kind of gave the ball away badly for the second goal. Then Rodri was done far too easy by Almiron. It was just a collective shit show of events, as I said before. But Mendy, I hope he can get back to where he was. I do believe in general that players need, and Martin Peronio, or however you pronounce it, a guy close to Guardiola. Guardiola believes as well that players take about 20 games to get back to the best after a serious injury. And Mendy's nowhere near that yet. I hope he can get back there. I hope it's just in his head. But as it is at the moment, he looks slower, he looks clumsy, and he's not the player that we signed. And people are trying to rewrite the history. Mendy was better than this. I'm sorry, if you think otherwise, you've been purposely harsh. It's not fair. Mendy was raw when we signed him. Yes, he was a bit lapsed defensively, but he was a like a steamroller. He bulldozed down that left wing. He created chances. He was fast. He was strong. He was great going forward. Now he's not that either. This isn't the Mendy that we signed. It's a very, very, very pale imitation of the man. And I'm hoping he can get better. As it is, though, he's just a bit shit. He is a bit shit. I can't deny that. It's not all his fault. It isn't. It's a collective failing. But still, individually, not good. Gundogan, just ineffective as Gundogan usually is. I thought he's just when the going gets tough, Gundogan is just a bit weak. That's Gundogan in a nutshell. De Bruyne struggled in that first half, but then he was still responsible for our best moments in that game. That goal was absolutely stunning, genuinely fantastic stuff. A sweet rocket of a strike from absolutely, it's like pure De Bruyne, foot like a traction engine stuff. Fantastic, phenomenal. And even then, he should have had a last minute assist for the winner. What a ball to Sterling, who just fucked it up big time. Just nonsense. Now, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because I thought De Bruyne did enough to win the game there. David Silva, nice involvement in the first goal. Whatever. I've lost the energy to talk about him individually. Sterling, scored. Whatever. Mahrez didn't even know he was on the pitch. Nothing. Whatever. Fine. Whatever. Bernardo came on. Gabriel Jesus not really there. I know you were all expecting some Arsenal fan TV kind of rant or whatever, but it's just not who I am. I can't do that, unfortunately. I haven't been expecting this to happen for some time now. I had a feeling we're in a transition. I had a feeling it was going to be very difficult. The past few months really pointed at that. When you have so many injuries and have all these players out, we're trying to find a way into the next generation. And I think this is the fallow year. I think this is the year where we struggle. And I think this is the year where we have to accept that it's probably going to be one step too far. We'll still probably finish second totally comfortably, I reckon. But I don't see us winning the league, and I've kind of made my peace with that. And I suggest for your own sanity, honestly, for your own sanity, start doing that now. If you don't, you're going to be very sad very often, because this season we're not going to win the league. I don't think we are. I hope I'm wrong. Throw this video back in my face in 5 months. I'll be happy. I'll look like a tit, but I'll be happy. So don't give a flying fuck. For now, though, this is not good. This is a bad run of results. We are not the team we are. As I've said before, we are, and it looks like a team doing a pressure Manchester City. We're shallow defensively. We have lost a bite. We haven't got a bit of hunger. We've got too much bad luck going on. And my phone is vibrating like mad. And who is it? Who's messaging me? Oh, it's loads of people DMing me on Twitter, not being happy. I don't blame you guys. It's inevitable that this kind of stuff happens. This is a season where we have to put our hands up and admit that we're just not quite good enough. Liverpool are better than us, and we are a poor version of ourselves. And there's too many players out of form, too many players trying to find their way into form, and maybe a few players that just aren't good enough for us. It's too insurmountable a task. I'm sure we had Laporte fit. I'm sure we had Sane fit. I'm sure we had Aguero fit, and everyone was like kind of... Zinchenko fit and all that lot, then we'd be a lot more comfortable. As it is, those things haven't happened. As it is, we are a bit of a mess, and it's going to get harder. And I'm fearing Burnley now, and a little bit apprehensive about the derby. I think we probably should win the derby, but that would be embarrassing, wouldn't it? Because we're a bit of a hot mess at the moment. Guys, I don't know, what do you make of that? The game itself, we should have won that. We did have that 1 10-minute spell where we absolutely cut through them with ease. Bernardo's missed, Foden missed a header, Gabriel Jesus missed a sitter. When we actually went through the gears and showed something close to our previous level, we're fine. We're absolutely fine. Defensively, I can take us being poor as long as we make chances and go through and score at the other end, but we didn't show any signs of doing that. This is not a fluid Manchester City. This is Manchester City where the real one is sat down. He's in the back row. He's not going to stand up. He's hid behind the curtain. He's lost. That Manchester City is currently feeling very sorry for itself, and it's there. And that's who we are now. You're going to have to accept that, and it becomes, as I said, a lot easier to take. For now, I'm going to reevaluate my expectations for this season. It's too big an ask. It's just too big an ask for a team that's too lost and too lacking identity at the moment. We are not Manchester City of last season. It's going to happen. This is the season. Accept it, embrace it, and just you'll feel a lot better. You know, it's harder to be hurt when you have lower expectations. Wow, what a horrible negative way to live your life, eh? Fear nothing, feel nothing, and then you won't feel anything. Nah, I don't. This football, it's fine. Anyway, guys, that's just my thoughts on this game and where Manchester City are at the moment. We need a centre back clearly. We need a ready-made replacement for Aguero because Gabriel Jesus is okay. I think he could get better. I think he could do, but we definitely need a striker. We definitely probably are going to end up needing a left back. I do want to give him any more time, but we're going to need a left back. I think it's certain, unless we want to play Angelino and trust him, or Zinchenko comes back and gets better. We are confusing. Bye-bye.